The companies were pushing you more,
yeah.
right? So you get a little 3% raise every year, but they want you to do double the amount of work.
Facts.
So it wasn't, for me, it wasn't lucrative enough anymore.
Makes sense.
So I decided to go into short-term rental.
Can you show a person how to get into the short-term game, whether they own or not own, or do I have to own? Probably first.
No. So you can do what is called Airbnb Arbitrage.
Okay.
So you can actually get permission from other landlords to use their property for corporate housing. So I wouldn't really say short-term rental or Airbnb because it's kind of looked upon because, you know, some things that go on with Airbnb that's not acceptable.
Makes sense.
But what I will say is that, you know, you can get corporate leasing and let them know that you're going to do, you know, short-term rentals.
Okay.
Anywhere from 2 days to 30 days max.
Okay.
So what you do is just convince the landlords that basically you're the better fit than a long-term renter, right?
Fire.
Because you're going to maintenance the property. You're going to make sure it's clean all the time. You know, any expense over $500, they won't be responsible for. So you take on that, you assume that responsibility of things where the landlord feels like, okay, this is really a hands-off situation.
Makes sense.
And then also you guarantee them rent and long-term leases.
Makes sense.
So instead of doing a 12-month lease like someone and just have frequent turnarounds, you're guaranteeing them a 3 to 5 year lease.
Wow. So now it's a win for them. So that's why they let you do it. How do I find profitable locations or enhance my chances of getting a location that's going to be profitable?
Right. So they do have softwares out there, especially like AirDNA.
Okay.
Things like that are also Rabbi. They have things on software platforms that you can actually utilize.
Okay.
I do use AirDNA to get basic information.
Okay.
I don't use it as a go-to. What people don't know, and this is the source I am going to give you, is that Airbnb is the best platform to use when you're doing your market research.
Wow. If I'm looking, what is a good occupancy rate that I should be looking for on average in there?
So anything around like 70% or more.
Okay.
You know, that would be the ideal occupancy rate.
Okay.
And then also, like I said, you would use, I mean, that's something that you're going to learn on my webinar. But
that's it.
if you use Airbnb, you'll be able to kind of like get an idea if that location, based on calendar bookings, like future calendar bookings, you'll be able to determine whether or not that would be a good area to invest in.
What are some ways that I can automate the business or some tools I can use so I don't have to be so hands-on?
So automation is, I mean, you can do like turnover B&B.
Okay.
They have a cleaning service where they come out and do all your cleanings. You can outsource dazzling cleaning. It's just so many other companies you can use.
Okay.
You can also use TaskRabbit, which is also very popular in the Airbnb space, where they have individuals come set up your whole house. So you don't even have to do it. You can, you know, maybe train a virtual assistant to do all your ordering. You have TaskRabbit or some other people come out and actually build everything out. And then you have a cleaning company that will come in and actually do all the cleaning services.
Ooh, okay. So you don't got to do much. Is there a way you can automate the communication part with the customers, like for responses and stuff like that? What does that look like?
Yep. So on the Airbnb site itself, they have like set messaging. So you can like automate a lot of messaging that you don't even have to have a real human individual do it. So like if someone books, I have set automations that come in just welcoming them. I also have, you know, intermittent ones, like how's everything going? Just want to check in. So it automatically generates based on the keywords.
Ooh, like a mini chat kind of in the internet. That's hard. Okay. If they're doing the arbitrage route, can they do that with just one, or do you recommend like scaling a certain number of units, or what does that look like? Someone wants to get that 6-figure number.
Well, it depends on their risk tolerance.
Okay.
Right. So, you know, you might have someone that their risk tolerance is low, which is understandable. You know, they're just getting into the space, so they want to feel comfortable getting into the space. So they probably will rent a unit, a cheaper unit. But if you want, you know, if you have a higher risk tolerance where you're okay with spending $4 to $6K per month on a rental property, then remember the return on that will be a lot higher.